Ever been to an RV park and wondered why that spot suddenly became empty overnight? RV life isn't always smooth sailing. With so many unwritten rules and regulations, it's easy to make a mistake. But don't worry, we're here to help you steer clear of trouble. In this video, we're revealing 10 shocking reasons people get kicked out of RV parks. Oh, and hey, stick around because later in this video, we'll expose the one mistake that could instantly get you banned from any RV park. Okay, now you might think that as long as you're paying, you can keep your site however you want. But many RV parks have standards they expect guests to maintain. A visibly run down or damaged RV can be grounds for eviction. This isn't about having the newest, shiniest rig. It's about basic maintenance and safety. If your RV looks like it might fall apart at any moment, the park may ask you to leave for safety reasons. Excessive clutter around your site is another issue. While it's normal to have some outdoor gear, letting your site become overrun with stuff is often against park rules. It's unsightly and can attract pests. Speaking of pests, if your RV or site becomes infested with bugs or rodents, you might find yourself asked to leave too. These infestations can quickly spread to neighboring sites, causing problems for the entire park. Many parks have rules about what can be stored under or around your RV as well. Using this space as general storage, especially for items not related to camping, is often prohibited. This includes things like car parts, excess building materials, or random household items. Even if your RV and site are generally tidy, neglecting basic cleanliness can be an issue. This includes letting trash pile up, not cleaning up pet waste, or allowing dirty dishes and food scraps to attract wildlife. Okay, so RV parks are supposed to be relaxing getaways, okay? Not boxing rings. But unfortunately, some guests forget their manners at the park entrance. Verbal aggression towards staff or other guests is one of the quickest ways to get kicked out of an RV park. This includes yelling, swearing, or making threats. Even if you think you're in the right, losing your cool will almost always result in you losing your spot. Physical altercations are, of course, absolutely forbidden. Any form of violence, whether it's towards staff, other guests, or even within your own party, will likely result in immediate eviction and possible legal consequences. Some people think they can get away with passive-aggressive behavior, like leaving nasty notes for neighbors or making snide comments in common areas. But this kind of behavior can create a toxic atmosphere in the park, and management will often step in and to remove the source of the problem. Harassment of any kind is grounds for immediate eviction as well. This includes sexual harassment, racial slurs, or any other form of discrimination. RV parks are diverse communities, and everyone has the right to feel safe and respected. Even if you're not directly aggressive, constantly complaining or arguing about park policies can also be seen as problematic behavior. If you find yourself in frequent conflicts with staff or other guests, don't be surprised if management decides you're more trouble than you're worth. Now, RV parks invest a lot in their facilities, and they take damage very seriously. One of the most common forms of damage is hitting fixed objects while maneuvering your RV. Posts, trees, other RVs, they're all potential collision points. While accidents do happen, repeated incidents or failing to report damage can lead to eviction. Some RVers get a bit too comfortable and start modifying their sites, digging holes for drainage, hammering nails into trees for clotheslines, or spray painting site numbers on the ground are all big no-nos. These might seem harmless, but they can cause lasting damage to the park. Damaging hookups is another serious offense. Electrical pedestals, water spigots, and sewer connections are expensive to repair. Using them incorrectly or forcing connections can lead to costly damage and a swift exit from the park. Some guests get carried away with outdoor cooking and end up scorching the ground or damaging picnic tables. Always use proper grills or fire pits. And never place hot cooking equipment directly on grass or wooden surfaces. Even seemingly minor things like letting your awning scrape a tree or driving over landscaped areas can be grounds for eviction. Always be aware of your surroundings and treat the park's property with respect. Now, I hope you'll agree with me that RV parks are not racetracks, and treating them like one is a fast way to find yourself on the wrong side of the gates. Speeding is the most common offense in this area. As mentioned earlier, most parks have very low speed limits, often around 5 to 10 miles per hour. It might feel painfully slow, but there's a good reason for it. Children playing, pets on walks, and people moving between sites all make for a lot of potential hazards. Reckless driving isn't just about speed. Ignoring stop signs, taking turns too sharply, or not yielding to pedestrians are all behaviors that can get you kicked out. Remember, you're driving a large vehicle in a crowded space. Safety has to come first. Parking issues are another common problem. Most sites have clearly marked boundaries, but some RVers ignore these, letting their vehicles or equipment spill out over into neighboring sites or common areas. This not only annoys your neighbors, but can also create safety hazards. Some people try to squeeze extra vehicles onto their site, blocking roads or taking up space in unauthorized areas. In the case of an emergency, this can obstruct emergency vehicles and generally cause problems for other guests trying to navigate the park. Unhooking your tow vehicle in unauthorized areas is another no-no. Designated areas for unhooking are there for a reason. Ignoring them can damage landscaping, create traffic jams, and generally cause chaos in the park. Now, this might not be the most glamorous topic, but it's a crucial one in the world of RV parks. The number one rule of RV waste disposal: never, ever dump your black or gray water tanks on the ground. This is not only disgusting, but also illegal in most places. It's a surefire way to get kicked out of any RV park and possibly face legal consequences. Some RVers think they can get away with emptying their gray water from sinks and showers onto the ground, but this is still considered improper disposal. It can attract pests, create unpleasant odors, and damage the park's landscaping. Using the wrong dump station or dumping at the wrong time can also get you in trouble. Many parks have specific hours for dump station use. Trying to dump outside these hours or using a dump station without permission can lead to eviction. Okay, moving on, and we love our furry friends, but in an RV park, they can quickly become a nuisance if not properly managed. Leaving your dog tied up outside your RV all day is a big no-no, obviously. Not only is it often against park rules, but it can lead to excessive barking, which disturbs other guests. Plus, it's not fair to the dog. Poor Poochie. Some people think it's okay to let their cats roam free in the park, but this can lead to conflicts with other pets, damage to other RVs, and complaints from guests who might be allergic or simply don't want cats around their site. Not cleaning up after your pet is another fast track to eviction. Most parks provide designated pet areas and waste bags. Failing to use these and leaving messes around the park is not only gross, but also a health hazard. Some parks have breed restrictions or weight limits for dogs. Trying to sneak in a restricted breed or a dog that's over the weight limit is a risky move. If discovered, you'll likely be asked to leave immediately. Remember, not everyone is an animal lover. Even if your pet is well-behaved, letting them approach other guests or their RVs without permission can lead to complaints and eventual eviction. Don't be surprised if this happens. It's more common than you think. Okay, next on our list, and it might seem obvious, but you'd be surprised how many people try to stay in RV parks without paying their dues. Some folks think they can get away with extending their stay without paying for extra nights. They might assume the park won't notice an extra day or two. But park managers are savvy. They keep close track of who's supposed to be where and when. Others might try to sneak in extra people or vehicles without paying the additional fees. Many parks charge extra for more than 2 adults or for additional cars. Trying to avoid these fees is a form of theft, no doubt about it, and can quickly lead to eviction. Remember, this is a business, not a charity. Late payments are another issue. Most parks require payment upfront or have strict payment schedules. Falling behind on these payments, even by a day or two, you guessed it, can result in you being asked to leave. Some long-term RVers might think they can get away with partial payments or payment plans without discussing it with management first. This rarely goes over well. Always communicate with the park office if you're having payment issues. Now, moving on, we touched on quiet hours earlier, but some folks take noise to the next level, throwing full-blown parties that disrupt the entire park. RV walls are thin, and sound travels easily in a park setting. What might seem like a modest gathering to you could be keeping your neighbors up all night. And it's not just about nighttime noise. Loud music, shouting, or revving engines during the day can be just as disruptive. Some party-goers think they can get away with it if they're quiet after quiet hours start. But if you've had people coming and going all day, making noise and generally causing a disturbance, the park management might decide you're more trouble than you're worth. It's not just about the noise level either. Large gatherings can overwhelm park facilities like bathrooms and common areas. They can also lead to parking issues if your guests bring their own vehicles. All of this can quickly lead to complaints and eventual eviction. Remember, RV parks are shared spaces. While you're there to have a good time, so is everyone else. Respecting your neighbor's right to peace and quiet is crucial if you want to avoid getting the boot. Now, next, it might seem harmless to extend your stay without asking, but this is a big no-no in the RV park world. RV parks run on tight schedules. When you book a spot, it's often reserved for the next guest right after your departure date. Overstaying means you're essentially stealing someone else's reservation. Parks take this very seriously for obvious reasons. Even if the spot next to you is empty, you can't assume it's okay to stay. That spot might be reserved for someone arriving later that day, or the park might need it empty for maintenance. You just don't know what's going on in the background. So always check with the office before extending your stay. Now, some people try to play the system by booking a short stay and then continually asking for one more night, quote unquote. Parks catch on to this trick quickly. It's not going to be the first time and it's not going to be the last. It disrupts their booking system and can lead to overbooking. Do this too often and you'll find yourself, that's right, asked to leave. In peak season, overstaying can be especially problematic. Parks are often fully booked and your unplanned extended stay could mean another RVer has nowhere to go. This not only gets you kicked out, but also earns you a bad reputation in the RV community. Just don't be that person. And for the last item on our list, remember we mentioned that there is something that can cause you to get booted from an RV park immediately? Well, RV parks have more rules than you might think, and breaking them can lead to a one-way ticket out of paradise. Quiet hours are a big deal in RV parks. Most places want peace and quiet between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. But some campers treat their stay like a 24/7 party. Playing loud music, shouting, or running noisy generators during these hours is a fast track to eviction. Many parks have strict rules about pets. Some limit the number of pets you can have, while others have breed restrictions. And almost all of them require pets to be on a leash. Let your dog run free and you might find yourself running right out of the park. Speed limits are another common rule that gets broken. RV parks often have very low speed limits, usually around 5 to 10 miles per hour. It's easy to forget when you're used to highway driving, but zooming through the park at 20 miles per hour could get you kicked out faster than you can say speed bump. Some parks have rules about outside decorations or structures as well. Setting up string lights might seem harmless, but if the park has a no outside lighting policy, you could be in for a rude awakening. The same goes for putting up fences, digging holes of any type, or hanging clotheslines. Many parks have specific rules about when and where you can have a fire. This is extremely important. Using the wrong type of fire pit, having a fire during a burn ban, or leaving a fire unattended are all potential eviction offenses and just downright dangerous. Don't be that person that ends up on the front page tomorrow. From unkempt campsites to violating park rules, these offenses can turn your dream vacation into a nightmare. But with a little awareness, you can avoid these pitfalls and keep your RV adventures stress-free. Every park has its own set of rules, so staying informed and respectful of your surroundings is key. Hey there, are you ready to discover even more ways to enjoy your travels? Check this video on screen, and be sure to like and subscribe for more tips to make the most of your RV life. See you in the next one.